What's up guys, Valence Ring here, and I wanted to bring you a very important video, and this one covers a topic that I get asked about daily, absolutely daily, all day, every day. How do you get into the top 500 in Arena? This is a long overdue video, and I have other videos on the Arena, and it covers some of the basics. This will actually cover some of the tricks and tactics that I use to get into the top 500 of Arena consistently. Now, there is no shortcut. For the record, you do need strong heroes. That being said, I'm going to show you how to use your heroes to the best advantage and try to make it into the top 500 in Arena so you can get in that hero duel glory for those coveted troop chips. Now, really quick, I do want to say, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing to my channel. I get over 20,000 people a month watching my videos, and I don't have 20,000 subscribers. I would definitely like to see my subscriber count go up. If there's something that you need for me to subscribe, you let me know, and I will work on it. That being said, give this video a thumbs up if you do like the content that I put out, and if this video helps you, and consider subscribing. So let's dive right into this. Top 500 in Arena. Hero Duel Survival is what we're talking about. You'll see right now I'm only ranked 607th. This is only day 2 of Arena, and probably the most important thing that you need to understand is this is a week-long event. This is not a one and done, get it done in a day. This takes a week, and it takes planning, it takes preparation, it takes work. So, this is only day 2. I'm ranked 607th. I don't try all the time to get ranked very low. There's one main reason for that. The lower you're ranked, the more likely you are to be attacked. Every time you lose an attack, you lose points. You can see my points right now are 1,183. You get points for winning, and you lose points when you lose a battle. Your ranking, your overall ranking, is based upon this number. You can see Blackjack is in the top spot at 1,530, with Baymore pulling up second at 1,521. So you can see my points are very low in comparison. If you want those high points, especially the top rankings, you're going to have to do many battles. So as you can see, I haven't even done my dailies yet. You get 3 free per day, and then you have to use these tickets. So the most important thing is setting up a good defense. Now, many people think, well, there's a great defense out there, and I'll just use that and it'll work. There is no perfect defense. I don't care what heroes you put in, they are beatable. And it might not even be that they're beatable all the time, but somebody, even with a good run, can beat them. If you look at my record, you'll notice that I don't get beat often. Most of these are attacks that I've won. And usually when I lose, let me see if this would... Look at this. This isn't even that strong of a lineup. But if someone plays a lineup well enough, they're going to beat your defense. So you have to expect losses. And up here you can see this is what it normally looks like when someone beats me. Almost 17 million might, and my defense is probably about 14 million might. Now, here's the key point to setting defense. You have to work on it. You have to change it. You have to tweak it and make changes on a regular basis. There are 2 reasons for this. One, if it's the exact same lineup all the time and people figure out a way to get around it, then you're setting yourself up that they're going to be able to beat you every time. This is my current defense, and this is something I've changed 3 times this week, and it's only day 2. So I often switch positions of the heroes because in defense, how the tiles hit makes a difference on which heroes they're hitting first. So your center position, where Atropos is right now, is the most likely position for a hero to get hit in. Even when someone runs tiles, no matter if they do it on the side or anywhere, there's a chance that they get a cascade and it hits the middle. What this means is that your middle hero is the one whose rage is going to fill the fastest and whose skill is going to be used the most. The reason I like Atropos there, and again, I change it all the time, but the reason I do like Atropos there is because she steals rage and lowers heal rate. and she hits pretty hard. She's also leveled up really high from me. So you want a strong hero that has a good rage skill that is going to do well for you, and you want that hero in the middle. Then you want secondary heroes right next to them, and then you want the heroes that you don't want to get hit very often, if at all, on the outskirts. Now you might think, well, don't you want Phoenix to go off very often? I do, but she doesn't have very good hit points. And let me see if I can actually pull her up here. You can see her hit points are less than 5,000. It's not her hit points that's the problem, it's her defense. She only has 1,811 defense. That is a really weak defense. So even though she has decent amount of hit points, she takes a lot of damage per attack. Now she has a high attack rate, but I want her to last as long as possible. One thing about her skill is that if you notice, it goes up 5%. Her fighting spirit at the start of battle increases attack by 5% every round up to 80%, and it's unable to dispel, which means nothing any hero can do to her will take it away. So what this means is if it takes her 10 rounds before she goes off, her attack is now plus 50%. That's a pretty big deal. So it's okay to have her wait until she is later in the game before she goes off. That's why she's on the outskirts. So see, putting the heroes in the correct spot is one of the key points. And you won't know unless you read the hero skills, which you can do. If they're not in your lineup, just hit where the little star is, and it will tell you all about them. And you can go in here and read all your heroes and compare them and learn them, and you should do that. I plan on having a lot of videos talking about each hero specifically and breaking down their skills and how they work. But that's future videos, and unless you're waiting specifically on me, you need to start learning your heroes and how they work together. So Lady M is great in defense because she blocks a hero from gaining rage for 4 rounds. Atropos steals rage. Fox heals and debuffs or removes debuffs from your heroes. Phoenix has high attack, and Ulrich spreads out damage and also boosts defense. So this is why I use this particular lineup, and I switch Lady M in and out. If she was a higher level, I might use her more often, and a very popular lineup is to use Fox, Lady M, Mantis, which my Mantis isn't very high, that's why I don't, and a Frame. A Frame stuns for 2 rounds, plus he does pretty good damage and has pretty good all-around stats. He's not a super killer, but he does have some pretty good base stats. He deals damage to all the foes, reduces all the foes' defense, and reduces all foes' attack. So this makes it, he levels down the enemy, and he has a chance to stun all foes for 2 rounds. That's usually why you use him, though, is because of the stun effect. Because this allows for the opportunity for all of your enemies to not be able to use their rage skill for 2 rounds. And it is important to note that stun prevents rage being used. It does not prevent rage from being filled. But Lady M does prevent rage from being filled, and that's why she's often used, because she will, she restores 5% of rage for all Wary Style heroes, and she has all allies gain immunity to new negative effects for 2 rounds, but her active skill, Death Metal, prevents them from gaining rage for 4 rounds. So that's how I have mine set. Now, like I said, the main point I want to bring is that there is no perfect lineup. This lineup can be beat. If I swapped out a different lineup, that can be beat. One lineup I often run is, instead of Lady M, I'll put in Myers, because he increases attack, reduces foes' attack, and he has some really cool buffs. He removes their buffs. So this is also a good lineup, but every lineup, I don't care what you put in here, is beatable. Even if you look at some of these, see, this is a very common lineup as well. Mars, Mantis, Lady M, Fox, and Phoenix. This is another great lineup. It's focused on, if you notice, the three in the middle are focused on stealing rage or preventing rage. So this is a lineup designed to prevent the enemy or you, the attacker, from using their rage skills. Now, it's still a beatable lineup. Obviously, they have their heroes at a very high level, and that makes a very, very big difference. Now, as you can see, my current rank just from doing this video has dropped from 6 something to 613. It hasn't dropped many spots, but what that means is people are around me, even if they're not attacking me directly, are gaining points higher than me by attacking other players. So I'm being outranked even though I'm not being attacked. So you have to understand that even when you're just sitting here, even if you're not getting attacked, you can and probably will still lose some of those rank points. You're not losing points, but you're losing rank position based upon other people gaining more points than the points that you currently have. So, and you see I went down one, so someone else got ranked down. So the current rank is live and it's pretty real time. It will adjust up and down just sitting here based upon how many players have points higher than you. So because it is a week-long event and you only get 3 attempts per day, I recommend only using those attempts to stay close to 500. For instance, I'm currently ranked 612. Because I am slightly higher might and better with my heroes than most players, I will normally knock this down to maybe 300 or 400 if I do so easily with my free attempts, just to keep my points high as possible, because it is a week-long event. So people that are winning more consistently will have higher points, even though they're not necessarily attacking that much more. So during the beginning of the week, your first intention should be to win as many as possible to rank below 500. Once you get below 500, you're going to have ups and downs the first couple days. I mostly recommend attacking what you know you can beat, and even waiting closer to the end of the day if you have the time for that, to just stay close to the 500 rank. You're not trying to get a top spot at the beginning of the week. It kind of defeats the purpose, and it's not going to help you if you're spending all these extra tickets to do so. Use your free attempts. If the best you can do is ranked 800 by using your free attempts, then that's okay. Save those extra attempts. On Sunday is the important day. Sunday before reset. Depending upon your time zone, it might be going into Monday. I don't know. But that being said, you want to make sure that on the last day of Hero Duel Survival that you're below 500. And the way to do that is to have an excellent attack team. So let's talk about the difference between defense and attack. You do want a good defense and you want to play with it. If you put in a hero lineup and you're getting beat all the time, then switch it around. Make people adapt to you and force them to have to come up with new strategies to beat you. That being said, you want as many heroes as high as possible. But when you go into attack, you want to find someone that you know you can beat. Now, this is a half lineup. I call it a half lineup because they have Eve instead of Fox, and they have Requiem instead of, Lady M or something like that. But this is a strong lineup. They have a strong frame, a decent Mantis, and a strong Phoenix. These are the heroes that you tend to work well together, and you will see this lineup in a lot of people's lineups. Now, I think I can beat this. It's very low might, and I'm not going to challenge it right now because that's not the point of this video, but I may do a challenge in a minute. But I do want to show you my lineup really quick. So this is my lineup, and I had a video on, is this the strongest lineup, one of the strongest lineups for puzzles and survival? And I still believe so. This lineup is about 15 million might, and I habitually, constantly will beat players with 15 to 16 million might without trouble, and I've challenged some 17 million might players with mixed success. At 17 million might, they're really overpowered, and that does make a difference. So one reason it makes a difference, and I do want to talk about that, the might ranking does affect the gameplay. If you have a higher might ranking than the opponent, then this means that your tiles are going to be more favorable. typically speaking. There is still some randomness to it. But if your tiles are more favorable, you're going to be getting more damage in, and your heroes are going to have stronger attacks based upon the enemy's defense, which means that you're going to be doing more damage more quickly. And if they have low ranked heroes, it means that you're going to be killing them quickly. Because of that, you do want to be careful and try to always attack players with a lower might ranking. It's not always possible. So for instance, here's one with almost 16 million might. Now this would be technically a pretty tough battle because they have Rage Stealers, a really high Eve. Eve does better the higher she goes, like all heroes, but she boosts rage regen rate, so she does really well when she's matched with heroes that steal rage. So this is actually a pretty tough lineup, and I would be hesitant to attack this, mostly because of the +8 Mars and the +6 Eve. Now, I'm not a big fan of Eve, but that's okay. So again, you'll see this lineup again, Lady M, Ephraim, Phoenix, Mantis, all of those together, and different combinations of them. And that's what I mean. You want to play around with different lineups. Zephyr is another good one to have in the middle because he has retaliation damage. So that is very helpful for when he's getting attacked, he's basically doing damage back to you. High level Zephyrs can be very helpful. So the point is you want a strong offense that can do some damage and that can rank you higher quickly. You can see that your rank will vary on a daily basis whether you get attacked or not. The higher your level, the higher your rank, of say from 600 to say 800, the more variation you may see. Now, if you're lucky and you don't necessarily have the strongest defense, but you have a solid defense, and you can place in the top 500 early and kind of work on staying there, then this is going to give you the best benefit later on. And if you happen to find a lineup that is not well known or easy to beat, then this is going to benefit you as well. But it is very much important how you handle each lineup with positioning matters and the strength of your heroes and how they work together. The synergy that I always talk about with your heroes is the critical component. Like you saw here, there was a player with 12 million might that probably does okay. Here's one with 10 million might. Now, I would have no problem beating this hero, mostly because I have almost 4 million might higher, even though this is a solid lineup. So you definitely want to put in the best that you have, and you definitely want to rank as high as you can. But you can see that they have 1,186 points. I only have 1,183. So technically that 10 million lineup of almost 11 million is ranked higher than me right now. So I don't want you in the beginning of the week to worry too much about your rank number, except for the fact that you don't want to be too high. You don't want to be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, unless that's the best you can do. If the best you can get to is 1,000 comfortably, then stay there. That's okay. Keep working on it every day. The closer you get to, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you start getting down to the wire. That's when you really need to push. Try and get as close to 500 as possible. And then Sunday, you need as many tickets as possible so that you can run as many attempts as possible and get under 500. The last hour of the day is probably the most important because you will see a lot of people using a very similar tactic of only getting close, and then that last hour they will push and get into 500, and this can make for some crazy point swings, and your rank can change drastically even if you're not being attacked. And the competition gets more fierce. You'll start seeing more difficult lineups at that 500 point mark. So that brings me to my last point. Just because you want in the top 500 for Arena doesn't mean that you're ready for it, because you do need 3 lineups. If you look here, I'm in Hero Duel Glory. You have to have 3 strong lineups. Now you can see here I have one lineup at almost 15 million, one lineup over 14 million, and one lineup almost 13 million. So, and all 3 of these are designed to work together. So I specifically have heroes that do specific things working together. So as you can see here, this is kind of a McCarty and Phoenix have similar type skills. So you can see these are my Rage Stealers mixed with a Phoenix-like hero for damage. So I have a Freeman, Mars, and McCarty all do good damage. They can stun, McCarty increases attack, Mars steals rage, Ladium prevents rage and heals, and Mantis steals rage. All very good heroes. That is a stronger lineup than the might suggest. And then my second lineup is my favorite lineup, and it is difficult to beat. It is beatable. It gets beat all the time, don't mistake it, but it is not easy to beat, and you have to know what you're doing to beat it and get maybe even a little bit lucky, especially if you don't have the strongest heroes. As far as my third, this is the one that I would call almost my backup. Even though it's the second highest might, this lineup isn't as strong as far as the way the heroes work together. Obsidian does high damage and Marlowe blocks the hit rate, while Eve is a good healer and Requiem has a chance to stun. Lavina also helps prevent the enemies from healing. So it is a strong lineup, but it's not my favorite lineup, and I would consider that my third ranked lineup as far as difficulty in beating. I would attack that lineup all day, every day. So that's my lineups for Hero Duel Glory. So just because you get in here does not mean that you're going to do well, but you still do want to get in here because every position is ranked. So if you look at the reward, you will notice that the season, which it lasts a week just like everything else, pays players all the way up to rank 500. You have to be ranked 500 to get into it. There are only 500 players in here. So even if you rank the very bottom 500th place, all you did was show up, you're going to get 3,200 of these Hero Duel Survival medals, which is going to allow you to purchase troop chips, etc. So you do want to be in there even if you're at the bottom. But don't expect to do well just because you got in, especially if you're using a lineup that is underpowered but did well for you. So that being said, the main things I want to point out again, the critical nature of what you need to worry about for getting into the Arena Hero Duel Survival Top 500. A strong defense that works well together, and you are going to have to play with it. You're going to have to make changes, maybe on a daily basis. If you come in here and your record looks the opposite of this, if all you see is red and a few greens, then you need to change your defense. And you need to work on your offense, especially if you're losing any battles. Picking the right battle is also very important. This is the battle that I want to pick because there is a 99% chance that I beat this, with only a slim chance that if I mess up or hit something wrong, or if I don't get the right tiles and maybe they get lucky and their heroes go off, outside of rare circumstances, I'm going to win this every time. You want to make sure you're picking battles like that. And no offense to that guy, I mean, I'm sure he's working on it, and that is a good lineup. So make sure that your defense, you constantly are working on. Learn your heroes. Figure out what they do, what their skills are. Pay attention to the attack. Pay attention to the defense and the hit points. So defense blocks attack, and hit points keeps you alive, obviously. So just having a high hit points doesn't matter. You want a high defense and a high hit points. Leah has a fairly balanced number, but she has a really good attack. So you want to look at those factors of how strong they are compared to other heroes and how much damage you're doing. The attack is going to affect the tiles themselves. So if you have a good defense, make sure you have that set and change it often, especially if you're losing. Make sure you're doing your 3 dailies to stay at the number you want. Now, let's say I was currently ranked 129. I'm not probably going to be doing any attacking that day as long as I stay within that pocket. I'm looking for specific pockets of ranking, and if I'm within that pocket, I'm not using my attempts. Even if I have to waste the daily quest and not use my Hero Duel Survival attempts, I'd rather stay in the pocket I am without risking a loss or change to my rank. Once you do that for the week, you're going to want to stay at or near 500 ranking. If you can do that, and then the last couple days try to work into lower than 500 and stay there, and then on the last day you're going to need to push, especially the last hour of Hero Duel Survival. So pay attention to that. That's probably the most difficult thing, is time management, and understanding that last hour can make or break your entire week. You can do everything right, have a good defense, and then the last hour you're knocked out simply because someone got lucky, or you've met someone that already knows how to beat that lineup, or whatever the case may be. So I'm sure there are still more questions. Don't forget to subscribe, because I do have more videos coming out talking about heroes specifically, how they work together, and what you need to know for, using them with other heroes. So I will be going into more of that later, so stay tuned for that. Definitely please give the video a like if it helped you, and if you have any further questions, put them in the comment section below. Of course, you can also join my Discord server and keep the conversation going. I have a big community of active players that are very helpful. Shout out to my Discord server and all the people that participate in there and share their tips and tricks and their expertise. So definitely join that. I'll put a link in the description below. So like, subscribe, and as always, guys, thanks for watching.